Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have two 90 proof American rye whiskeys. Is Bulleit Rye. 95 proof, no age statement. This is produced in Indiana by Midwest Grain Products for Diageo, the owners of Bulleit. So it's made in Indiana and shipped to Bulleit, or it might just be shipped out to the market. I don't even know if Bulleit touches it, but it's they put their label on it. So it's a contract distilled product to the market. I don't even know if Bulleit touches it, but it's they put their label on it. So it's a contract distilled product. And it's been on the market since 2011. And it's got a following. It's popular. It runs about $25 a bottle. But I got it for the incredible price of $10 at Walmart. Now, they're still selling it at Walmart for $24, $25. So I don't know why they decided one time to sell it for $10, but I didn't question it. I just bought it. Okay. That was about a year ago, and not even a year ago, earlier this year. Now, here's Winchester Kentucky Rye whiskey. It's not straight rye because it's only aged 1 year. A year and a day, it says, from O.Z. Tyler Distillery in Owensboro, Kentucky, but it's better known as Green River Distillery. The old name was O.Z. Tyler, but it's called Green River Distillery. I don't know why this bottle says since 1866, because maybe the Winchester rifle goes back to 1866 or something like that, but not this product. It's got nothing to do with a town called Winchester. It's not 1866 because the distillery only started releasing their own product in 2022. They had somebody else making it for them because they started rebuilding it in 2014. So I don't know what all this hogwash is about. But anyway, if they could explain what 1866 has to do with this whiskey, I'd appreciate it. Jacob Call, Master Distiller. So anyway, it's got a wooden cap, neoprene, the rubber stopper like you see on many products these days. Now, some people might say, wait a minute, that's not legal because it's only aged a year. No, it's legal. Some people will say, oh, bourbon has to be aged at least 2 years. No, it doesn't. No, bourbon doesn't have to be aged any specific amount of time. It just has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. Rye whiskey has no age requirement. It just has to be aged for some theoretical period of time in new charred oak barrels. So bourbon and rye are very similar. They both have to be aged in new charred oak barrels. Doesn't have to be white oak, but that's what they typically use because apparently it's got the most neutral flavor. Cork here. Plastic cap, but cork stopper. The other one is a wooden cap, but a rubber stopper. The difference between bourbon and rye is that rye whiskey is made from mostly rye, and bourbon has to be made mostly from corn. But if you want it to be straight rye, then it has to be aged at least 2 years in new charred oak barrels. And I forgot to write this in the notes. Bulleit is 95% rye and 4% and 5% malted barley. So I'm gonna add that right now. 95%. Oops, that's why it's called Bulleit 95. 95% rye and 5% malted barley. Got it now. Maxwell, cheers. Good morning, Ron. Cheers to you, Maxwell. Good afternoon there in Russia. All right. The appearance, well, they're both the same amber appearance. Not much difference there, if any. Here we are today on the feast, the solemnity, I couldn't think of the word, the solemnity of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary. Or if you live in the East, in Russia, for instance, in the Eastern churches, it's the Dormition of Mary. The Feast of the Dormition of Mary. Okay. And Assumption of Mary is a dogma of the church since 1950. Only 73 years ago it was declared a dogma. All right. And you could say that the requirements for rye whiskey are a dogma because you can't get around it. You have to accept it. It has to be at least 51% rye, and it has to be aged in new charred oak barrels. Doesn't matter what state it's made in, and it doesn't matter how long you age it, unless you want to have straight rye, and then that's an even further requirement. In that case, at least 2 years. So let's check something real quick. Now, your opinion about the products, what type you like. You say, well, I prefer bourbon over rye. I prefer rye over bourbon. Well, that's your opinion. That's your preference, and that doesn't matter. That's not a dogmatic situation. You don't have to accept that part. But the rules, you have to, because then you'd be denying reality, and that wouldn't be a good way to operate. Okay. Some people deny reality and try to be dogmatic about it with everyone else. You know, they'll try to tyrannize other people and try to force them to accept the unreality of the situation. Which, if you're a good, correct thinking person using right reason, you would not accept that. You would reject that tyrannical approach. Okay, and you would hopefully openly ridicule it because it deserves that regard. Okay. I'm trying to see something here very quickly about whiskey. Okay, here we go. Okay. Whiskey, rye. Harmless coloring and flavoring and blending materials are allowed, but they are not to exceed 2.5% of the volume. Is a label disclosure required? No. Well, no. straight rye whiskey. Straight rye whiskey, no, you can't have coloring added, but you can't have coloring added for any, or flavoring added to any rye. I mean, any straight liquor. So if you want to make sure you're buying a liquor, a lot of people don't care. They say, oh, if it tastes good, I don't care about all those legal things. Okay, that's fine. But if you say, no, I want to make sure my whiskey has no coloring added, no flavoring added, then buy it. Make sure it says straight on the label. Because if it does not say straight, it might have coloring added, might have flavoring added, and they don't have to tell you that. I kept wondering, why does George Dickel Rye not say straight rye? It doesn't say straight rye anywhere on the label. Now I know why, or I'm pretty sure I know why. They're adding coloring to it, or flavoring, or both, or one or the other. So see, if you know the law, then you can know the parameters of what you're dealing with. Okay, rye is my favorite wintertime liquor, says Urjo. Summertime, I prefer rums. That makes sense, I think. Burley Sullivan says, you. Okay, Burley. Now it's time to do the challenge. So could the Winchester have coloring or flavoring added to it? Certainly could, and they're not required to tell you that. But it probably doesn't have coloring and flavoring added. It probably just is aged a year and a day. That's what it says in the Bible. It's aged 1 year and a day, so it can't be straight rye. That would disqualify it in that sense. Okay. Do I think it tastes great? Nah, it's kind of plain. It was $19.99 at Total Wine and More. Now I went back over there the last time, they didn't have it. They just, Total Wine does it. They'll carry stuff and then they won't carry it. Sort of like Walmart. They'll carry stuff and they won't carry it. Sort of like, well, every store is like that, more or less. Okay, but notoriously so Walmart and Total Wine. So if you see something at Total Wine that you're curious about, you want to try it, I wouldn't wait, because there's a good chance you're going to go back and you'll never see it again. Maybe in 8 years. Okay. Oh, smells like rye candy. Smells like sugar water and rye. Mint. Smells the same. So we know that the Bulleit is aged at least 4 years, because it has no age statement. So the law is it has to be aged at least 4 years for whiskey. Now rum and other things, that's different regulation. Okay. The aging is not making a difference on aroma. All right. The aroma is basically the same, which is mild rye spice, meaning menthol and mint and the sugar water. So it was the same case with the Sazerac rye. I wasn't getting any difference on any level. Aroma, appearance, appearance, aroma, flavor. Everything was a draw. Appearance, aroma, flavor. So which one was better? Neither, except that I can get Buffalo Trace $6 cheaper. Not the Buffalo Trace, this what is made at Buffalo Trace. Most of it is. Some of it is made in New Orleans at Sazerac House. But I can get it for $6 cheaper. So ipso facto, I'm going to buy it over Bulleit. Now, somebody from Maryland told me, oh, man, I paid $34.95 for a Sazerac Rye. So that's an incredibly bad price when you see it in Louisiana for $18.99, even $17.99 on rare occasions these days on a sale. So price here, $5. $5 difference. Except in my case, it was not that, because I told you I paid only $10 for the Bulleit Rye, but that's a very strange situation, which you are never going to encounter. Okay, taste. It's just typical bread dough. I mean bread crust, not bread dough. Bread crust. Um, a little menthol, mint, the rye, the rye spice that some people even say black pepper. I don't agree with that, but I don't. I can see because rye is hard to explain to people who've never tasted rye. If you never had rye bread, it's almost impossible to. The only way to really say is like tastes like rye, but then that doesn't explain anything to anyone. So my suggestion, go to the store and buy some rye bread. Why ask why? Just buy the rye. Medium body, 90 proof, so you get that proof level there. You can feel it. That Kentucky hug, or it might be an Indiana hug. Yeah. Um, Owensboro is right on the Ohio River there. I believe it is. The Ohio River. I've driven across it on a bridge. I've walked across it on a bridge. And I've stood right where, at the point, the very point where the Ohio River comes into conjunction with the Mississippi River. Two different color waters, too, you can see. And my father was there. He put his hand in the water and he was like, yeah, there they are coming together. He was amazed by it. Um, yeah, okay. Ooh, this one seems to have a stronger flavor, more depth of flavor. Ooh, maybe a little hard to take flavor. I took a little bit too big of a sip, but ooh, gives you the chills. Or as some people in Louisiana say, the frisson. Oh, give me the frisson. All right, wow, wow. Woo, yikes. All right. Look that one up in your Funkin' Wagnalls. This one, as people around here would say, this one is more mellow. More mellow. This one is more mellow, Anthony. Uh, it doesn't have as pronounced a flavor, and that's making me think that it's the Winchester Rye. Does the aging make a difference here? 3 years or more difference. It's got to be at least a 3 year difference here. Uh, no. And I think the reasoning is that although one is much longer down the road in aging, one is in the barrel much longer, 3 years or more, the flavor is going to be sucked up right off the bat because they both have to use new charred oak barrels. See, new. It's never been used before, so that char is fresh. You pour the clear liquor in, it's clear, the rye, and then it's not whiskey yet, it's just rye distillate. Call it rye spirits. It's not neutral spirits because it's got flavor, it's rye. And then after you age it, then it becomes whiskey legally. So it sucks up the char, and there you go. And it's going to get that color right in that, right there as well. Of course, remember, the Winchester could have coloring added, but since it's new charred oak barrels, I doubt they add color. It's probably going to be that color because of the sucking up the charcoal and the wood. So it'll be red. They call it red. They call bourbon red, that red whiskey, but the rye is red, reddish, brown too. Brother says, did you get any smoke your way? No, I didn't get any smoke my way, but I know that the smokier you are, the player you get. Remember that, folks. This is important advice. The smoker you are, the player you get. And it's a game. Um, 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 do I like it? I do like it. I don't know if I necessarily love it, but I like it. This one I'm more toward love. I like you. I love you. Baby, you're so sweet. You're sweeter than high fructose corn syrup. Um, they're both kind of sweet, like sugar water. Oh, so I'm gonna give the win to this one. It's not a great victory. It's a minor victory, but it's still a victory. So I'm gonna say that the Bulleit Rye, straight rye, don't forget straight rye, is the winner. And here we go. I got it right. Yeah. So is the Winchester Rye worth buying? Yes, it's worth buying. Are you going to lose a little on it? Yes, you'll lose a little on it. Are you going to lose $5 to $6 quality on it? No, I don't believe you will. It's a difference. It's not going. It's a trade-off. You say, "Hey, man," you say, "Hey, I'll save $6 and lose a little on flavor because you just said you didn't lose much." That's true. You lose much, so you may as well save the $6. Now, if you say no, I never compromise on flavor. I want the flavor, and if I got to spend $6 more, that's the way I run it. Then spend the $6 extra and get the Bulleit Rye. No other way I can explain it to you. But either way it goes, you're getting a decent product, nice product. Are you excited for next year's election season? Well, you could say excited would be a word possibly. Don't know how to express it. Okay, anyway, could be very interesting. Now, so cheers to OZ Tyler Distillery, also known as Green River Distillery, legally known as Kentucky DSP 10, Kentucky Distilled Spirits Plant number 10 registered, which was going way back to the 1800s, but it went out of business. Then it burnt down. Then somebody rebuilt it, and now it's back in production, producing their own products as of an entire year now. Well, actually, they were producing them for years, but they had to age it first at their own place. So they said, well, we don't want the thing to just say bottled by. We want it to say distilled and bottled by. So it took them till 2022 to say distilled and bottled by. Not for the Winchester, though, because it was only aged a year. So they just put this out there. I guess they figured, well, somebody will buy it. Well, somebody did, me and a couple of other people online. So, yeah, this might have been on the market 4 years because, like I say, a 1 year age. They wanted to get something out there. They might have had some vodkas clear, and then you got no aging on that. So they might have put a few products out there, but now they're coming out with the 3 different bourbons. They got a wheated bourbon. There's I can't remember. You look up Green River Distilling and you'll see. I hadn't seen them around here, but they probably make their way down here. Yeah. Are they any good? Are their products any good? Couldn't tell you because I never had them except for this one, and this one's pretty good. So if you want a basic rye whiskey with really minimal aging and $19.99 price, at least at the time of my purchase, yeah, check it out. Put it in your collection. It's worth it. I wouldn't go tracking it down. I wouldn't go on a big search for it, and I wouldn't get all excited about it, but it's in the mix. Sort of an old overhaul type thing. Yeah. Old overhaul might be a little better. I don't know. I haven't tried the new 4-year age, the current version. But I got a bottle ready to roll. Now I got 3 different bottles of old overhaul. I got the 2020 edition, closeout edition. It was closed out in 2020. I got the new 2020 edition, 2020 to 2023 edition, and I got the new current 2023 edition. So I got the current. I know that looks bad the way I'm pointing, but I'm going back and the current, the previous, and the previous to that. So I got the 3 latest editions of Old Overholt, currently produced by James B. Beam Distilling Company of Claremont and Frankfort, Kentucky, but it used to be in Pennsylvania, but they bought the company out. They bought out the company, moved everything to Kentucky, and just abandoned the company. You ought to look at that video on YouTube where the people are, I'll say, trespassing on the property. They're not damaging it, but if you look at it, it looked like it's already been damaged to. But it was amazing because they just like left it. They had drawers full of paperwork, like they were looking in it. Oh, look, drawers. Does food coloring really sell more bottles? Probably, because a lot of people are going to be hesitant to buy clear or nearly clear liquor. Just look at the scotches that aren't colored. I have one, 10-year age, no coloring added. It looks almost clear. It's just the palest yellow. Doesn't bother me. I'm not picky about those sort of things. But other people that just say, ooh, what's wrong with this stuff? It doesn't have that beautiful caramel color. That's right, because it doesn't have any caramel coloring. But yeah, well, that's a common thing. I bet you whiskey companies buy more, and brandy companies, I bet you they buy more caramel color, and rum companies. That's right. You can add color into rum. Don't have to say it. You don't have to discuss it. Man, I bet you they're one of the biggest caramel coloring purchasers in the world, right? I mean, who else would be big? Well, of course, candy companies use a lot of it. Yeah, that's true. Forgot about that. All right. Well, y'all take care now. See you tomorrow.